a good, clean fight. Obey my commands. Protect yourself at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck.
Well, we've described Josh Pagan as one of the most exciting prospects in this division in the sport today, and exciting is the operative word. He has yet to be in a dull fight. The same could be said for his opponent here tonight, James Bernardine, who was in an absolute banger against Matt Conway in September of last year. That was his last outing. A potential show stealer here between Pagan and Bernadine.
And the interesting thing is they each have different mandates. Bernadine said, I need to start fast. Pagan and his dad, who trains him, said we need to not be so frenetic in the early rounds. We'll see who sticks to their word.
Yeah, to that point, Raul, obviously we've been ringside for most of Pagan's professional fights, and he does have those instincts. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but when a fight breaks out, he is eager to take part.
Yeah, he did say that. You know, he says he wants to be able to dictate the pace of the fight, but I want to be smart too. You know, if I get hit with a big shot, it doesn't mean I have to get it right back. You know, he wants to fight at his pace, stick to the game plan, and focus on what he has to do to win this fight.
Pagan looking for that right hand. Pagan has been tested nicely thus far in his pro career. A nice looking win over Ronald Ron on the Shields Perkins undercard. Of course, he had that headlining slot in Puerto Rico. Pagan kind of a sleeper prospect, if you will.
Yeah, the fight with Haskell Rose, a veteran who fought very well in that fight, was exciting. And his fight with Roger Hilly, another undefeated fighter, was also a thriller. And Bernardine, you know, we just saw him a moment ago land a really solid left hook. He's not there's not one punch in his arsenal you point to and say it's the one. He does them all pretty well.
Well, I mean, Bernardine did say he wanted to close the distance early. He said he didn't want to give him any distance. I know you talked about it. He wants to force him to engage, but I don't think he's been able to do that.
Not yet, no.
It was a good right hand to the body a moment ago there from Bernardine. We mentioned that fight against Matt Conway, and Bernardine's trainer, Will Torres, said that he's never seen Bernardine throw that many punches before. So I'm sure Bernardine is looking to carry that punch volume into tonight's fight.
Yeah, they just couldn't get Matt Conway out of there. Tough veteran, and even though Bernardine landed some really big shots and ended up winning that fight. And they said, you know, he probably took too many punches because he was trying to finish him. Oh, beautiful
combination there. A nice 2-1. From Bernardine, the right hand, as he steps in with a jab immediately behind it. Eye-catching shot from Bernardine. Final 15 seconds of round one.
Yeah, and Pagan, you know, sticking to his game plan. You know, he got hit a couple of times, but he keeps, you know, turning him. He's not trying to engage with him. He's boxing smart. He's using his jab. Staying very focused in there so far.
Round two set to begin. We saw Victor Pagan, Josh Pagan's father, in his corner. And how do you know if your son is going to become a fighter? Well, in Victor Pagan's case, because when he was taking pictures of his child when he was around 5 or 6, Josh Pagan always seemed to be in a boxing stance. So we said, I think that's a pretty good sign. Let's take him to the gym.
You do not have to be an investigative journalist to figure that out. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, you know, he sparred with Rolly Romero, did Pagan, before Romero's victory over Ryan Garcia. He also sparred with Ricardo Rubalcaba, a fighter that you and I saw in L.A. He was a very fine fighter, so it was a good experience for him.
Pagan, the chief sparring partner for Rolly Romero as he prepared for Ryan Garcia. And a lot of people looking for answers as to why Garcia didn't win that fight, why he looked the way he looked. Well, maybe you can give a little credit to Josh Pagan for his work in the Romero camp.
Preparing him. And when you think of it, Josh Pagan was probably the perfect guy to spar with for that in terms of body type and everything else.
This right hand there a moment ago from Pagan as he steps back in with another one.
Oh, nice. Fast combinations. He's in and out.
Yeah, the Pagan hand speed. Both these fighters are quick with their hands. Good body work by Bernadin. But Pagan is really can reel off some dazzling combinations.
Bernardine riding a 3-fight win streak following the only 2 losses on his resume. Those coming at the hands of Ivan Jimenez and Esteban Falcao on the undercard of a late edition of Showbox. And Bernadine very much of that ilk, like a lot of, if not most, fighters who come up through the Pennsylvania club circuit. He has been matched tough from the very beginning of his career.
Yeah, promoted by King's Promotions, Marshall Hoffman, and yes, he has fought tough people. And one of those, the Jimenez fight, was a very close fight that could easily have gone his way. And the other fight was very close too.
Good shot again there, Raul. You gotta like the bounce and the step of Pagan here in this one.
Yeah, he's fast on his feet. He's punching as he's moving his feet. Good footwork. He's there. He's not. Good combination punching by Pagan. I think it's confusing Bernardine. If you see, he's not really attacking like he said he would. It seems like his pressure kind of faded. Good, more combination punching, fast and quick for Pagan. And very focused. I could see it in his eyes. He's sticking to what he said he was going to do.
The Bernadine people didn't think Pagan used his feet that well in fights. And we have seen in this fight he's using angles very well. Not tons of lateral movement, but using the angles well.
Yeah, he's in, he's out. Gives him a little bit of side movement.
Nice check left hook there from Pagan. And that will be the final word of round 2. Well, even before our broadcast started, guys, this has been a night of prospects in tough, as DeVell Smith did not have an easy time with Antonio Todd earlier on tonight.
Todd came out with a purpose. Smith able to do good body work like this, but Todd hung in there, and as the fight wore on in the middle rounds, after Smith had really won most of the early rounds, Todd started pushing against the ropes and landing big right hands.
Retaining his undefeated record at now 12-0. Antonio Todd definitely made him earn it. And again, that is the edict of this series at Big Time Boxing USA. Raul, of course, Showbox, very close to your heart.
Yes.
And it's always been the thought of Dimitri Salita, the folks in charge of this series, that this could be a continuation of Showbox. And that means putting guys like DeVell Smith in tough.
And that's exactly what we're seeing tonight, with even with this fight with Pagan, with Joseph Hicks, with Wendy Toussaint. You're absolutely right. And that's what people want to see, very competitive fights where the prospects get to a level where they really got to get tested and keep getting tested in their career.
And DeVell Smith in that fight had struggles in the second part of the fight that they'll have to address as he moves forward. This Pagan that we're seeing, slightly different than the Pagan that we sometimes see. He's using the jab, the punching from distance enough without necessarily getting into a firefight, but still landing good combinations.
Nice uppercut there from Pagan as well. Yeah, a more composed, more relaxed version of Josh Pagan here tonight. And, well, something we're noticing as well, Pagan leading with that right hand a little bit more. Is there something he's seeing in the defense of Bernadine? Is it the shoulder roll defense? Why do you think Pagan is able to have that success?
Well, if you see Bernadine, every time he pulls back, and even when he's coming forward, he drops his jab hand. So that's why he's trying to, lead with his right hand and try to catch him. And that's what he's doing, and it's paying off, Corey.
I think the hand speed of Pagan is surprising Bernadine. You know, I don't think they expected his hands to be quite that quick. That and the foot movement being better than they anticipated.
You're right, Al. That little subtle movement. It's not a lot of movement. It's not like he's giving them angles, but just a little subtle movement to the right or to the left when he throws his combinations. And good defense too. Like he's been blocking a lot of punches. He's catching a lot of shots on his gloves.
4-punch combination there for Pagan a moment ago. I think 2 or 3 of those landed.
And Bernardine is usually a volume puncher. Sometimes if you can make a volume puncher less of a volume puncher, which is what Pagan has done to him, you really nullify a lot of his effectiveness. Bernadine's been able to land here and there, but not like he normally does with a lot of punches.
And this is also a sign of maturity in a prospect, Al, when you're starting to see economy of movement. And you know, we reference Mike McCallum, who, of course, we lost earlier on this week. Something he was a master of, just the ability to stand right in front of you, but somehow be unhittable.
Yeah, a very good point. And Pagan is doing some of that tonight.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful right hand again. And Pagan really putting him together now. Just missed with that left hook. So we're inside the final 10 seconds of round 3. Beautiful round of boxing from Josh Pagan, who steps in with one final left hook. Speaking of high-level boxing, June 14th, tune in to see Richardson Hitchens defend his IBF super lightweight title in New York City against former unified lightweight champion George Kambosos, who's making his debut at 140. Catch this fight as part of DAZN's 185-plus fight nights a year. Round 4 set to begin. James Bernadine, the pride of the Lancaster Boxing Academy, who likes to use the tagline, win by any means necessary. And, you know, Raul, he might have to tap into a little Wendy Toussaint, start making this a rough affair here for Josh Pagan, who really found his groove there in round 3.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, look, he keeps doing this beautiful combination punching. Now he's really pressing action and throwing even more, being busier. Bernardine, you know, he looks very confused there. He looks off balance. He can't figure out Pagan's attack.
Will Torres and Bernadine made it clear when they talked to us that he needed to be the one that was initiating the action, and they just haven't been able to do that. And that Pagan has created that because he's throwing those tremendous combinations and stopping Bernadine in his trap.
Well, and Pagan, each and every round, Raul, you could speak to this, has given just a slightly different look. There's something different about Pagan each and every round, like that left hook to the body.
Exactly. I would like to see him double up with that left hook over the top, you know, but you're right, you know, he's always changing, giving him different looks, and I think that's why Bernardine is so confused and he can't figure out what he has to do. He's not doing anything to add any stress to Pagan. Pagan is just having fun and fighting his fight.
In terms of where Pagan feels he is in the pecking order, he started talking about wanting a fight against Floyd Schofield. He wants to make a statement in this fight to maybe drum up some interest in a fight against he and Kid Austin.
That would be a big step up for him, but not something you would think is absurd to think about at all.
Inside the final minute here of round 4.
For Bernardine, he really, at this junction, they didn't get what they wanted in the first 4 rounds. Look, they wanted this quick start. They thought they could put Pagan on his heels. That hasn't happened. So now he and Will Torres have to figure out a way to get to plan B, whatever that is.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen for Bernadine. If he didn't start fast like he said he would, it's going to be worse. It's going to be downhill.
Yeah,
because I believe that Pagan, in the second half of the fight, he's going to turn it up. He's going to sit more on his shots. He's going to go for it. He's going to go for the knockout.
Pagan starting to jab to the body. Are we allowed to make a second body snatcher reference in this fight?
Why not? You can do anything you want.
Just swimming through those shots of Bernadine, just continuing to stab the body of Bernadine with that lead hand.
The best thing Pagan did in this whole round was avoiding that sweeping right by Bernadine. Talk about showing growth. Defensively, that was excellent.
We're not at the 8-point flurry every 20.
Back to action here. Joshua Pagan and James Bernardine. Super lightweight action. It has been all Josh Pagan thus far as round 5 begins. You know, we've talked about the economy of motion, economy of movement from Josh Pagan, and it's hard for me to not draw that through line to the time he spent in camp with Luis Ortiz. It's hard to think of someone who has done more with less movement than Luis Ortiz. There's a lot to learn from that old man.
Boy, is that true. I mean, that is absolutely true. Because he was able to do that without moving and be an effective defensive fighter. You know, Pagan thought, and his dad thought that the right hand of Bernardine and the uppercut were things they had to worry about. Bernardine has never been in a position to throw that uppercut on the inside, hardly at all, and the right hand, Pagan has slipped effectively, so they knew what they didn't want bad to happen, and they're avoiding it.
Yeah, it's interesting, Raul, because Bernadine is in range to throw those shots and land those shots. He just can't get them off because the hand speed and the defense of Pagan is just nullifying.
Exactly, the speed, it knocks you off balance. And look at the movement. Look how he's just picking them apart. He's moving to the right, he's moving to the left. Now Pagan is giving him a little bit more movement, more angles, so that's really confusing Bernadine.
Finally, a good right hand by Bernardine, but I think that's really the headline of this fight. We've seen Josh Pagan a lot, and what he does sometimes standing in the trenches is that he doesn't give you that slight movement. He's been doing that in this fight. When he does that, he's a hard man to deal with.
Again, showing Bernadine just a slightly different look here in round 5. A lot of tools in the box for Joshua Pagan. Just misses with that lead right hand.
You know, neither of these men are huge knockout punches. Pagan with 4 KOs, Bernadine with 6 in his 13 wins. But Pagan's hurting him
hunting
now.
for one right now.
Yeah, he is hunting for one.
Bernadine's head snapping back after one of those shots with his back against the ropes. Vulnerable position for Bernadine, who just racks up Pagan.
I love that lead. There goes again that lead right hand by Pagan. He sees it, he throws it, and it's every time he's connected with the lead right hand, and it sets up other combinations too, Corey.
And one of the reasons I brought it up is because for Bernadine to come back in this fight, he would need to show the power against Pagan. And boy, he hasn't been able to do that either.
Look at it. Yeah, he's having fun in there. Just made a miss and had a little smirk. Pagan is having a good time. It's a good feeling, guys. Yeah, it really is.
Bernadine did have some good moments early, working to the body a little bit, and landed a few shots, but then Pagan came back, and there's the patented left hook of Pagan. Corey made the point that the right hand's been so effective for Pagan that we've seen that mostly. Normally we'd see more left hooks, but the right's been very effective.
Raul, at the end of that last round, you kind of reacted to how Pagan was behaving. You said it's a good feeling. And describe how that feels when everything's working for you.
Well, not only for the fight. I think I'm talking more for his dad. Because his dad trained for real. His dad trains him, and I trained
you've been in both positions, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when your fighters, you got him smirking in there. He's having fun. He's throwing his combinations. You have no stress in the corner. Just what do you tell him? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep your hands up. Give him some water, and let's go.
And one of the intriguing things is both of them are among the most honest people you can talk to at fighter meetings. They're very honest about the good, the bad, and so they are analytical and they're honest. And so we know how he's feeling now because they knew what they didn't want to have happen and what they wanted to have happen.
Pagan likes to describe his style as constant, intelligent pressure, and I think that is a good descriptor. He's not, barreling down and chasing people down, but he's constantly in front of you and applying that mental stress at all times.
Yeah, this fight's a perfect example of that. And, for people tuning in, they don't know James Bernardine, they've never seen him. Trust me, when you look at all the videos of him, he gets a lot more done offensively in most fights than he has tonight. And that's a tribute to Pagan.
That's a left hook there from Bernadine.
Yeah, but just one shot. He can't connect 2 or 3 shots because Pagan is his defense. He's giving him that subtle movement. Oh, look at that right hand again.
Sure.
I'll tell you what, I think
2 or 3 of them.
I feel like Pagan, we're in he's got a plan. We're in the second half of the fight. This is the 6th round. I feel like he's stepping it up more, and he's sitting down more in his shots. I know he doesn't have a lot of power.
Yeah, but he can punch.
Combination punching, it's enough to hurt his opponent, Bernadine.
Pagan is really having fun right now. Getting a little more playful with his offense right now. Everything cooking for Pagan here in the 6th round.
And for Bernadine to have a fight in which he literally can't seem to throw combinations is the exception, not the rule.
Final 30 seconds of round 6. Bernadine missing with that sweeping left hook is caught by the shorter version from Josh Pagan.
Yeah, I feel like Bernardine needs to be a little bit faster with his footwork. He's too slow, It's almost like he's not stuck in sand, but if you see him, he's not on his toes. He can't close the distance faster because he's too flat-footed.
What should be one of the most exciting matchups in the super flyweight division this year. Bam Rodriguez versus Fumalele Cafu in a unification bout for the WBC and WBO super flyweight titles on July 19th. That's live on DAZN as part of your annual subscription.
Could anyone fight a tougher group of foes at such a young age than Bam Rodriguez?
It's astonishing.
Yeah, there you go.
It is.
Same word. We were using it at the same time. It's amazing.
Round 7 underway. Joshua Pagan having the time of his life in here against James Bernardine, Raul.
Yeah, he is. He's in total control, complete domination. Even though Bernadin is keeping him there on the ropes, doing what he should have done from the beginning. But I think Pagan is letting him, allowing him to do that, trying to wear him out and maybe counter off of that and catch him when he swings wild.
Yeah, Pagan had a couple of those moments in round 6 as well, Al, where he was kind of just framing up, waiting on the ropes, maybe looking for a big counter.
And you know, the other thing we haven't talked about, the height advantage of Pagan. He's used it very effectively in this fight and controlled the geography of the ring.
When you hear a guy, you see that yell when he's having fun. You hear that? You know, he just let him flow, letting his punches go. Every time he throws, he's catching them.
I don't think they could have drawn up a better scenario in their imagination, he and his dad Victor, than this. This is by far, it was great. We've seen Pagan be very exciting, be very good. This is by far his best effort. Would you not agree?
I think so. Yeah. I really think so. Even though, you know, some of the past opponents like Haskell and
they were all good. Yeah.
Healy, you know, I feel like they were a little bit more aggressive, but also like Pagan probably learned from those fights and has gotten better, and that's what we're seeing.
100%
tonight.
That jab to the chest of Bernadine just made his knees dip just a little bit there a moment ago. Bernadine on the back foot temporarily.
I mean, this is one of those fights where Joshua Pagan shouldn't really be dominating this much. This was meant to be a closer fight than this on some level. And that's, you know, when people have step-up performances, that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, I mean, I figured that Bernardine should have, I mean, the fight's not over yet, but should have given him a tougher test, right? I mean, and he's not.
And he tried.
Yeah, he tried, but
couldn't do it.
It's not happening.
Final 20 seconds of another dominant round here for Joshua Pagan, who just keeps stabbing to the body of James Bernardine with that lead hand. There it is again. Everything working for Josh Pagan with 3 to go here in this super lightweight contest. Undoubtedly the most famous inductee of this year into the International Boxing Hall of Fame is the Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao, who will also be back in action in a couple of months. Astonishing to think, Al, we just drooled over the strength of schedule of Bam Rodriguez. Yeah. Take a look at this.
Well, and the thing about it is, even if you just take the first part of his career where he was fighting the Barreras, the Marquezes, the Moraleses, the big four, the Fab Four of the smaller weight classes, that alone is astonishing. But then he goes up to welterweight and fights all those other people. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, Raul, he might have had 3 separate Hall of Fame careers if you were to dice it up.
I mean, what a resume. I mean, just, you know, starting at 106 pounds, I believe, all the way to 154. That's incredible.
Oh,
Big
wow.
right hand there from James Bernardine.
Yes.
And Pagan might have felt that one. See a smile on the face of Pagan, but offering up opportunities for Bernardine to get off, which have been, well, minimal in this fight, to put it plainly.
And they're imbued with some confidence. Bernardine tried the uppercut on the inside, which is a good punch for him. But we'll see if Pagan can come back from that quickly.
Yeah, it looks like he's already coming back.
Yeah.
That lead right hand. It's there every time, all the time. It's very accurate with the lead right hand, and it sets up other combinations. You know, the uppercut, the left hook, back to the jab, back to the right. I mean,
Well, you wonder if some of those moments, we referenced it in the last round, Raul. Pagan kind of framing up. If he's trying to incite a little confidence from Bernadine to get him to overcommit, ironic because his opponent is using the Philly shell, the essence of which is to try and draw something out of you that isn't there.
Yeah, he's trying to let Bernardine get a little bit confident, let him think he's doing something.
That was a Bernadine right hand.
That might be for Bernadine.
That might be a little bit too much now. He's getting
Big right hand again from Bernadine, who looked utterly overwhelmed in this fight, but now has signs of life.
Okay, he might have let him grow a little bit too much there, or he did grow. I mean, he did earn that.
Well, and that's the attack from Bernadine that he and Will Torres wanted to see in this fight, and he's been able to produce it. But Pagan, when he's in a firefight, he knows what to do, and he's doing it right now.
Well, Pagan, as eye-catching as those shots were, look at this work that he's doing on the inside.
And this is like the old Pagan. These were that minute and a half, 2 minutes is what we have seen in the past in these kind of firefights.
Nice uppercut there from Pagan. Final 40 seconds of round 8.
Oh, nice
Another uppercut from Pagan, and now snaps the head back of Bernadine with a straight right hand. Good response here from Joshua Pagan. A couple of scary moments in that round.
Be careful.
And then, oh my.
Whoa, that is a blatant takedown.
That was not nice. I mean, you could get hurt with something like that. I mean,
Frustration perhaps by Bernadine.
Just a pro wrestling scoop slam from James Bernardine. And that'll do it for the round.
That was an exciting round of boxing. James Bernardine finding the overhand right twice there, and those were solid punches, and kept up the attack. That was the punch that they were most concerned about in Pagan's corner, and Bernardine was able to find it. But as effective as he was here, and a lot of those landing, those are two terrific right hands again with Pagan pinned against the ropes. It was Pagan that came back and was able to do good work, and until this happened, the takedown by Bernadine, which Raul correctly pointed out was not nice.
Big right hand again here from Bernadine. And you got to hand it to James Bernardine.
Yeah.
You know, the output has been muted for a couple of rounds, but he has not lost self-belief, and he is firing these right hands now again here in round 9.
I think Pagan is standing too much in front of him. He needs to get back on his toes, get back to boxing. But then maybe he's standing there because he's tired. He's been boxing for a whole 8-9 rounds on his toes. So I don't know, but he needs to get back to combination punching like that, giving him angles, moving. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. That's his forte. You know, that's where he's good at. Get in, get out.
Well, James Bernardine has landed his best punches. I mean, really good right hands, the best he can throw. And they have stunned Pagan, but they didn't stall him completely. But great effort by Bernardine in these last 2 rounds.
And an emphatic reply from Pagan as well after getting hit with those shots to come back with those heavy combinations. Again, not all of that landing, but trying to create a little bit of doubt in Bernadine's mind. Do you want to go for it again the way you did before?
Exactly. And the big thing is Pagan is kept in the center of the ring for the second part of this round. In both rounds when he got in trouble, it's because he was against the ropes.
Bernadine just missing with that right hand again. A little bit of a different arc on that one.
And he throws wide punches sometimes, Bernardine, but in this round he's also landing the jab very effectively. And I think part of the reason he's landing that right hand is because the arc is so wide.
Closing in on the final minute of the round. Bernadine's corner asking him to tighten it up. He closed that loop, so to speak. As a straight right hand of Pagan comes right down the pipe. May get another one.
We've seen Pagan take big punches from both Roger Hilly and Haskell Rhodes and be stunned. Oh my, that could have been a knockdown.
And Pagan, maybe the feet got tangled there, but Pagan rocked into the corner pad there after that right hand.
And you can make a strong case the ropes kept him up.
Final 20 seconds of round 9. I'm sure we'll get another look at that moment there. And we'll start the was it a knockdown or not debate. As the seconds tick away, James Bernadine still here to fight in the final rounds.
Tonight, the narrative of fights keep changing during the fight, and that's what you want to see. That's what makes boxing fun.
All right, here we're going to see where Bernardine throws an overhand right, and he kind of pushes him back. I mean, he was a little bit, he did get caught. He was off balance, I believe, and the ropes did help him from going down, but I don't think he was.
See, I
don't think he was hurt. I don't know.
He wasn't hurt, but I'm going to tell you, that's a knockdown. Because the punch pushed him back. I'm not saying he was hurt or it was dramatic.
Yeah.
That punch hit him. He flew backwards with no ropes. He's falling down. So that's, to me, is the classic definition of it.
Al, being a Hall of Famer, I respect.
No, I mean,
but I don't think it was a knockdown.
All right,
I think
you and I have disagreed about once every decade.
Yeah,
so there
there's
you
nothing
go.
wrong with it.
I will say, as the mediator here, that those types of calls are ones that referees are most hesitant to make.
Absolutely, I understood. Yeah, and especially they're aware that maybe the guy's not dramatically hurt, but.
Bernadine looking for that same right hand. He's going to need something big in this final round. Bernadine is making this fight compelling down the home stretch.
He's backing up straight. Pagan is backing up straight with his chin a little bit too high, guys. There he goes. He's dropping his hands.
Left hand
I don't
very
like that.
low.
In the 10th and final round here, this isn't unfamiliar territory for Josh Pagan, but it's still new territory for a young fighter like Pagan.
We have to give James Bernardine credit for hanging in there mentally enough to be able to attack like this in the final rounds. Very unlikely he's done enough to get a decision for sure. And some of these rounds, if he's landed big right hands, he might not even have won them. But still, there
right
it is.
Hand right there.
Wow. I mean, that's impressive stuff.
Whole counter right hand there from Bernadine, hopping the head back of Josh Pagan. Bernadine on the front foot, no doubt knowing he needs something colossal in the final round. But again, as we pointed out, he's found the shots that theoretically are his best shots, the ones that for him could end the fight. Pagan has taken them.
Yeah, and it's a combination of Bernadine not being a monstrous puncher and Pagan being tough as nails. I mean, he's taken punches from other guys.
He's got a good chin.
Yeah,
he's showing a good chin.
Yeah, we've seen it in other fights. Certainly created a fun fight, you know, especially in these last 4 or 5 rounds.
Again, we go back to the tease that we dangled out there with Josh Pagan as always being exciting, even in his development.
He couldn't resist making this one exciting for us, could he? Although some of that had to do with James Bernardine, that's for sure. Oh, wow, what an uppercut by Bernardine.
Seconds, Pagan getting touched again. As James Bernardine, he might have won this final round.
Yeah, very
He
possible.
likely will not win the fight, but he made it a fight, especially down the home stretch. The Ring Magazine 3 presents Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz and Shakur Stevenson against William Cameron Zepeda. They will be co-headlining on a blockbuster night of boxing from Louis Armstrong Stadium in Queens, New York. That's Saturday, July 12th, live and exclusively right here on DAZN. Joshua Pagan awaiting the decision here. Yet another entertaining fight involving Joshua Pagan. James Bernadine played his part in this one. And we had the debate over whether that was a knockdown earlier in the fight or not. It looked like maybe there was a foot entanglement as well. It looked like Bernadine might have stepped on his foot, but a right hand did land at the same time.
So it's a matter of opinion, was it?
Yeah, and that, in all likelihood, will not change the outcome of this fight.
I think, I got Pagan winning by unanimous decision. Probably won, what, 7 rounds, you think so?
Pagan eagerly awaiting the decision here, looking to improve to 13-0. James Bernardine 13-2-1 coming into this one, as we mentioned, running a 3-fight win streak coming into the fight against Pagan.
Bring him in, guys.
Both men are in the center of the ring, and the scorecards are in the hands of Chad Fishburne. Let's send it up to the center of the ring.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Tom Schreck scores it 98-92, and judges Glenn Feldman and John McKay score it 99-91, all for your winner by way of unanimous decision, Joshua James Double J Pagan.
So Joshua Pagan remains undefeated. You heard the scores wide, but again, entertaining down the stretch. Josh Pagan had to learn some lessons again.
Absolutely, yeah. Another learning fight for his development. Styles make fights, and every style you throw at him when he's coming up, it's going to help him in the long run. When he gets to the bigger opportunities, to the bigger fights, he'll be able to adapt and be ready for whatever comes at him, Corey.
Well, again, as we mentioned, Josh Pagan talking about wanting a fight against Floyd Schofield, against Kid Austin. He moves towards a fight like that. As we take a look back at some of the highlights from this one, a terrific performance from Pagan.
Yeah, at the beginning, Pagan was giving him a boxing lesson, 3 and 4, 5-punch combinations. This is where his opponent, I forgot, what was his name?
Bernadine.
Bernadine, yeah. Applied a little bit of pressure. And, it was a little bit too late. Again, he was able to dominate most of the fight, and it was a good win for the hot prospect, Joseph Pagan.
Joshua Pagan